Oh boy. America's dumbest congressman, Louie Gohmert, he's at it again, man. Now, Gohmert this time was trying out his hand as a guest host on the Point of View radio show. Now, during the show, he was interviewing conservative activist and Reagan book founder Janet Porter. Now, Janet Porter just released some sort of anti-gay film called Light Winds.
I'm going to read you part of what you said and ask you to expand on it. But in the video, you point out according to the Babylonian Talmud, a book of rabbinical interpretation of the scriptures written 1,000 years before Christ, there was only one other time in history when homosexual marriage was practiced. It wasn't the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, although homosexuality was rampant. According to the Talmud, homosexual marriage was not. It wasn't in Babylon or even ancient Greece or Rome. According to rabbinical writings, the only other time in history where homosexual unions were authorized as marriage was in, quote, the days of Noah. And then you shared Matthew 24:37, which in red letter editions, it's in red because Jesus said, as in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. That's a little scary that it wasn't legal except before the flood.
You know, it kind of tells you where we are in the overall the timeline. And it says, it points to where we are right now in terms of our choices for the next president of the United States. One thing that I heard very clearly last night is that Hillary Clinton said she will put justices that will not only uphold Roe versus Wade, but that will continue to undermine and redefine marriage and assault our freedoms, as we've seen as a result of the Obergefell decision and so much leading up to it. But that's really where we are. Marriage matters because it matters to. If this is true, if what the Babylonian Talmud had to say is that this was the issue that led to the flood, and that this will be a sign of what's to come, that as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man. What we're dealing with is, if we don't correct this, then we are crying out for judgment. We are crying out for the end of the world as we know it.
The end of the world as we know it. Look, I got a verse for you. All right. Assholians 4:17. Shut the fuck up. So saith the Lord. Look, this guy, like, both of them, I thought that the whole thing is that we want Jesus to come back. Isn't that the whole point of Christianity, is to wait around and for Jesus to come back and rule you? Which, by the way, the people that wrote the Bible thought that was going to happen within their lifetime. And every generation following, some percentage of people were like, Jesus, he's going to come back. He's going to come back any minute now. Jesus will be here. So maybe he'll pick up my dry cleaning on the way home. I don't know. But now they're saying, you better ban gay marriage because that will mean the literal end of the world. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. First off, they're so worried about the end of the world. Why aren't they worried about climate change? Look, if you're worried about floods, well, by mid-century, Miami is going to be partially underwater. Are you worried about that? No, of course we're not worried. And besides, that's mid-century. Louie Gohmert's probably not going to live that long. So, and besides, what does it matter? Jesus come back. Except that we don't want him to come back, but we do. But if gay marriage happens, or if we continue to have gay marriage, well, then he's going to destroy the world, then come back. Look, I don't understand. I don't get any of this, right? And there's a reason, because I think, look, first, it's all bullshit. But if you actually do believe the Bible, then it will tell you that God promised to never flood the world again. Oh, interesting. Genesis 9:11 states, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. Well, that kind of blows their whole theory out of the water, doesn't it? But look, I guess God could get creative and hurl a meteor at us. Okay, fair enough. Or, what's better, let us destroy ourselves. Like, I don't know, letting us fuck up the atmosphere by pumping more and more carbon, through the use of burning of fossil fuels. Yeah, sure, it's a slow death, but hey, whatever, gets the job done, right? in a couple hundred years, Earth's not going to be habitable for human beings anymore, thanks to climate change. But look, you know what this whole thing is? All this rhetoric is fear-mongering bullshit from people who spend way too much time thinking about what other people do in their bedrooms. Look, do you know the real reason that these religions don't like homosexuality? It doesn't have anything to do with how God thinks it's terrible. No, it's because the first Christians were a very, very small group. There were only so many of them. They were a minority. They were a persecuted minority. So what they had to do is they had to grow the religion by having as many babies as they could. And it's the same story for a lot of these religions starting out. For example, the Israelites had to breed soldiers to fight the Canaanites. So, look, guys, don't go off having gay sex or getting gay married. You got to have them babies. We need the babies. We need the soldiers for our wars and for our own very survival. The thing is, well, we don't have that problem anymore. Christians don't have that problem anymore. 83% of Americans now identify as Christian, according to an ABC News poll conducted back in July. So, look, Christians, you're going to be fine. You're still a majority. And even if you weren't, see, here's the thing, right? Atheists in particular are not interested in treating you the way that you've historically treated us. And I think that's the biggest fear from people like Louie Gohmert, from some of these extreme people, that non-Christians and the gay community, LGBT people, are going to turn around if they ever get the upper hand and start treating them the way that they used to get away with treating minority religions as well as LGBT Americans. That's the fear. Oh my God, no, we have to remain in power. We have to crush them, because we know if they were in our position, they would crush us. Not necessarily true. Although if you keep crushing, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to see this happen. But there's only a certain point of you getting crushed so much that the people don't start pushing back. And that's what you're afraid of. But instead of letting people do what they want to do and get married and love who they want to love, no, these people, and I'm not saying all Christians, most Christians are awesome people. I'm saying that there's a very, very small minority of Christians, of religious people. And you can lump some of the very fundamentalist Muslims and Jews into this as well, and other, members of other religions who say, no, we have to have it our way. Because we're afraid that if the tables were turned, we're going to be the ones who are crushed. That's not going to happen. And this whole thing about oh my God, the world is going to end, literally, but is basically nothing more than a way to try to justify denying people a right to self-determination. And in the case of gay people, the right to enter into a marriage and get all those privileges the government bestows around married couples. That's what this whole thing is about. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.